Hey there, fellow rocket controllers. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan. Episode 69, landing our first rocket mission. I am going to do food and water again before the landing so that I don't have to step away from the landing. I can actually watch it. So let's do food and water up one last time, and then I'll make a save point and then attempt the Dave rocket landing. Because if it fails, I might just, save scum it. It'd be the first save scum this entire series, but, I don't really want to blow up a rocket, because it doesn't... It doesn't... All it does is, make me do the thing over again pointlessly. It's not, adding challenge, it's adding drudgery. So, yeah, I'm not eager to add drudgery to this run. I should get back to making a loaf of bread at some point. I have wheat growing in the farm. I just haven't bothered. Whatever. So the issue with the farm cooling is about to be solved. As soon as we crush the ice that we got from space, that CO2 that is being crushed will come out at 2 Celsius or something. And be very, 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 very easy to keep cool. In fact, it will act as a coolant for our oxygen and our hydrogen, because it will. We have a system that normalizes all the gases in our tanks. So crushing this ice actually solves an air conditioning problem as well, which is kind of glorious. The temperatures of this stuff: 41, 41, 42. Basically, they're all the same. Off by 1/10 of a degree. No problem. Why is my, is the portable light, in a weird, I guess it's in a different spot in the Hardsuit's backpack, so it's casting these weird shadows. I almost prefer the lower level backpack, because these shadows are obnoxious. I forgot about that. I think I remember that being a thing back when I played last, and was like, oh, for the love of God, I hate this. And I'm running into the same situation again. No. What did I just do? Put that one on. Because, right, this doesn't have those, wild shadows. Yeah, all right. You, bye-bye. I'd rather have fewer space and better lighting. All right. Save as Dave. Oh, really? That's how I spelled Dave Land? Okay, let's do Dave Land attempt. Not Dave, whatever it is. So, I wanted to demonstrate something. I am save scumming, but only for the educational purposes. If we attempted a max height landing on to the launch mount, we do not have the fuel for this. So I 100% know this is going to fail, but I wanted to demonstrate it and then save scum it for demonstration purposes, because there's no other easier way for me to show. So, rocket scanners off and pump engine on. In this configuration, we impact in 500 seconds, but we do not have 500 seconds of fuel. What ends up happening is at 120 kilometers up, which is now, we're doing a rest burn, basically burning the rockets to slow down. But because the impact and the descent arrest doesn't have enough fuel, this will result in impact. It will blow up. It will land. It will explode on the landing pad because it won't have enough fuel. Basically, it's trying to slow down or run out of gas at maybe 60 kilometers up and just smash into our landing pad. And what would end up happening if that happened is basically just the landing pad would break, because it only goes out 5 cells or so. So there should be, yep, that little blue dot, in the middle of the screen, just above my cursor, is Dave the Rocket, and it's destined to die now. Because I set it up for a failure to land. It doesn't have enough fuel to do the thing I wanted it to do. So I'm going to exit, and then load it up again. Now, the one issue that I have with these rockets, what the hell, is you don't really know your delta V until you start the maneuver. I don't know how to figure out the delta V without, like, maybe running a calculator or IC code or something. Because, I mean, ultimately, let's turn this off. Ultimately, I do indeed know the amount of volatiles and oxidizer, and I know the mass and dry mass, right? But I can't, it doesn't tell me what my, like, delta V is anywhere, so it's a little weird. So what I'm going to do is the very low confidence medium 40 kilometer burn, because I don't even think I have enough fuel for a 70 kilometer burn. I can try it. But again, if our, oh, you know, that I didn't even tell it where to go. Yeah, the launch arrest is less than the fuel time, so this wouldn't work either. We would have to do a medium landing. So that's exactly what I thought, which is why I'm willing. Essentially, the TLDR is the rocket that I sent up with as much fuel as I had at the time, knowing the landing was going to be sketchy, but I didn't have more oxygen, and the only way to get more oxygen would be to just, like, wait a few more hours on stream, and I didn't want to just wait a few more hours on stream, so what I'm doing in this case is doing a sketchy landing and potentially save scumming if it lands bad. But if it lands bad, there's also, like, the whole advantage of you'll be able to see a crash landing. So now, at the low confidence, medium 40 kilometers up thrust burn, we do the descent arrest in 185 seconds, but we have 235 seconds of fuel. So basically, I have enough fuel to do this landing. So this landing might result in a landing, and it might result in an explosion. I'm not sure which. But in 3 minutes, we'll find out. Or, no, that's not it. The descent arrest is in 3 minutes. The actual landing is going to be longer than that. Alright, let's get out there in just a minute. The other thing I wanted to check was the volume of gas that is in our Stirling tank setups. Ooh, batteries are full. Like that. Oh yeah, these canisters are more pressurized now because they got heated. Oh yeah, okay. Last time I checked this was at like 5, now it's at almost 10. So yeah, there's no problem at all. We're easily, we could probably scale up to 10 Stirling generators and it wouldn't be an issue with this mega vent. And somewhere up there is Dave attempting a landing. I don't see him yet. Oh, yep, right there, middle of the screen. Oh, I have the arc welder's battery on me. Here, Dave, catch this. Okay, I can't throw as well as I thought. Flop. While we wait for Dave to come down, you know, the other thing we could do is start to fill up our mining tool. So I'm going to set to flatten. And flatten out some of the terrain around here, around the landing spot. And then turn that terrain into dirt, which we can fill the holes in. So as you can see, the ore canister in my belt is going up. And that's going to be dirt that we then can use to terrain manipulate, place back into, so that we can fill the holes. I just wanted to do something while I waited for Dave to land. And let's update the priority. Land Dave. And the way the flatten tool works is the level at which you started at is the level at which you will attempt to flatten. And it can't add terrain. So if I can't flatten up, I can only flatten down. The terrain manipulator is what allows you to flatten it up. Oh, I hear the arrest burn. Do it, Dave. I believe in you. Don't make me save scum for the first time. Outside of, like, for science reasons. And yeah, I, like, shouldn't be standing here. Oops. That was a misclick. Alright, let me stand back. Do it, Dave! Do it! Land, you bastard! I believe in you! Ah! Woohoo! First landing! Ha ha! It didn't blow up! We're alive! Alright. Well done, Dave. So, umbilicals go out. Power gas, and I'm not going to do cargo right now because I don't need to. First thing I want to do is suck all of the fuel out of the rocket. We will refuel it and put it back up, but I don't need it to have... I don't need it sitting on the tarmac, or whatever you want to call this. This is obviously not tarmac Adam, but I don't need it sitting here, like, with fuel or whatever. So, yeah. And the power and batteries are charging it back up. And while that happens, let's go ahead and fill the lava hole that killed me. And this tool, if you're wondering, is using the dirt that we had put in the canister. And every time I click, it's like using up one more unit of dirt to fill. And then once I'm done, I can like flatten it back out. And this is the method of terrain manipulation. There's basically, I think you understand how this works now. But it's a really handy tool to have if you don't want to have to build frames everywhere, because like building a giant field of steel frames is like, you know, kind of a lot of work. And then this is set to flatten, and you can see the holes where I misclicked, but now we can flatten it all out, and once I'm done, we'll have like a flat field of I don't know if I can call it regolith, but the flat field of like Vulcan soil, rather than like the lava holes. Although I'm like undoing the work. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be non-fatal. But you can also see that the terrain is like kind of mafic or something. It kind of looks like lava, although it doesn't hurt me. So that's why I was saying like it's a little sketchy looking. Because it appears dangerous even if it isn't. Which is why I initially hesitated in using it, because it makes the terrain look dangerous when it's not. I also have a giant death hole over here, too. Haven't fallen in this one, but I think it's only a matter of time, to be honest. So let's fill this back in. Or rather, fill it in for the first time. Oh! See? Speaking of which... Sometimes, like, your character just, like, gets hung up on terrain when you try to move forward, and then, like, once you got unbound from the terrain, it just, like, sends you. And you go flying, like, my people need me. I'm going back to my homeworld. And in this case, it would be the underworld. I mean, we are at, like, Acheron and Styx, right? So, there we go. So now with the terrain manipulator... and a little bit of work, we've filled in some of the worst holes around the base, and I can also do, like, this one. It's crazy, honestly, that we haven't, like, fallen into this hole yet, because it's, like, right in our front yard. But given enough time, you can change all the terrain around your base and make it a lot more livable. The other use case for it is if you're on a planet, that is mostly flat, which allows for like Amy robot mining, but has some holes. The terrain manipulator can fill those holes back up so that you can send the Amy bot. So for those that don't know, there's a little robot which you can use IC code to like script to send it around to like automatically mine for you. I don't think it's like particularly useful, especially not here on Vulcan, because the terrain would just kill the bot. The bot is really dumb. It's kind of like a Roomba, and it just like hoovers up random ores, and it's yeah, and it gets stuck in terrain all the time, and I don't know. So I don't use it because it's like relatively worthless. But if you wanted to try it, you would also need to like terrain manipulate. The other thing is there are rovers in the game, and rovers of course require like relatively smooth terrain as well. So if you wanted to like drive between two bases in multiplayer or something like that, and you created some sort of like dirt highway, but you had some holes in it, you know, the terrain manipulator obviously will fill those terrain holes up for you so that you can traverse between long distance, because there's not a lot of good long distance travel in the game outside of like just jetpacking a while. But if you're ever caught in a storm traveling between two distant bases in like multiplayer setting or something like that, you're probably best off you know, in a rover of some sort to allow you to make the trek without, you know, dying. All right, most of the terrain holes are fixed. Let's just put the dirt canister back in the ore slot because I emptied it. But as you can see, there's not a lot of spaces for me to like fall into my death anymore, right? I've filled them all up. It'd be easier to tell during the day. The other thing I wanted to check now that it is peak nighttime is what kind of power the Stirling generator is generating. 13 kilowatts, up from like 8. And as this tank gets more pressurized over time, every day cycle, that should increase. And then I also have the batch writer set up to batch write to all large power events. So if I ever wanted to double the intake for this thing, all I would need to do is set up another large power event 13 units away, hook it up to the same plumbing and power, and we would double our gas intake, which is not an unreasonable thing to do if we're trying to scale our Stirlings from like 5 to 10. All right, checking on the rocket. So the fuel's empty. Turn that off. Let's go inside and well, here, let me check. The lever to be able to dump out the ores out of the cargo pod is like, I don't know where it is, but I can't gain access to it. So I'm going to use the rocket terminal to dump our cargo out, because I think the lever's like in there somewhere. So let's go ahead and move the ices we've got from Dave the Rocket to the silo on the landing pad. So the current priority is start processing Dave's glorious ice. Did the waste heat system dump refill get automated? Yes, it's been automated for like 50 episodes. That's this logic here. Which is why this never goes above like 195, because it's constantly refreshing. It doesn't refresh quick. It could be improved, but it's working well enough that I don't care. I have bigger fish to fry. And the gases of our stored gases are lowering in temp. Okay. First step. Dastardly Dave, the rocket miner. We are going to open up the cargo storage, turn it on. Right, it's now at 99% battery. And then in the open slot here, we're going to set this to 1. And as you can see, the import count, it's importing from the rocket miner, because the rocket miner itself had some stuff left in it. And I wonder why it's not going. Is that because the silo No, the silo's on. Should be working. Huh. Hello? Turn it off and on again. I've done this before. Oh, right, the umbilical's not connected. Duh! Thank you, chat. I'm a moron. I was like, cool, this is how you do it. Yeah, okay, but like, I can't magically... God. It's been a long week, guys. It's a bad excuse, but it's the best I have. Let me out! Did I not hit the button? Now you see my brain is really just malfunctional. Let's try this again. Alright, time to connect. Oh, there is still a death hole. I mean, the chance of me like randomly falling in that is not zero. Let's fix that. I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm definitely the kind of idiot to be like, oh yeah, I fixed our problem, and then like fall into the only hole I left there, like a stooge. All right, grabbing some more dirt. Done. And Chan, thank you for the resub. Alright. Now, let's try this again. The umbilical was not actually connected, and I can't just teleport stuff from the rocket to my silo. But as soon as that's connected... Yep, here we go. Silo's filling up with, ice. Obviously, I don't want to pull the chute here, because that would be a real problem. Because then we'd have our beautiful, beautiful ice getting dumped. And this should go up to 51, I think. Because what was in the minor unit itself plus the cargo would be 51 slots, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. 6.5. I'm just trying to get a read on like how much intake gas we've got. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Oh, because the rocket miner has an internal storage of like 6 or something? I don't know. Whatever the case is, Dave is empty. Now, the other thing that we could consider, and I'm going to poll you on this. So, big picture here. The 2 vapor clouds we found up in space, one had water, and the other had oxygen. And I will admit, due to the inefficiencies of electrolysis, of splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen, it will be easier to make rocket fuel out of mining oxygen oxides. So I ran over here to show you. This here is an oxygenated vapor cloud, and this is the water cloud. And the oxygenated vapor cloud will have a mix of, it will have like an oxygen mix, and we can mine the ice there for oxygen. So the reason I ask you this is, we can use all the ice that we got with Dave to just have a lot of water, maybe take a shower, you know, be able to not have to worry about combusting oxygen and hydrogen together to produce water for life. And then say refuel Dave and send Dave back up to go grab the oxygenated vapor, because here on Vulcan the atmosphere is hydrogen, so we can just take the oxygen we mine and the hydrogen we sip from the atmosphere and make rocket fuel that way, which is going to be a lot less power intensive and infrastructure and a lot less infrastructure intensive than making electrolysis. So the question is, what to do with the water, or what? Yeah, to do with the water. Wow, I can't spell. Water. Just keep it as water and mine oxygen ice with Dave, or split it into rocket fuel. And I've explained the... I'm happy either way. I just wanted to give you the option. Because if I split it into rocket fuel, I'm going to need to add batteries to the base, add power generation to the base, add electrolyzers to the base. And if we just keep it as water, I'll refuel Dave, send him back up to the oxygen vapor cloud, and we'll still crush that ice. But then I'll just put that ice into a large CO2 tank and a large water tank. I'm happy either way. So I'll give you 2.5 minutes to vote on that while I start to work on the infrastructure to be able to process the ice. So let's get our ice crusher, because I don't want to put the ice crusher where I have it anyway. I want to move it, because I don't really want to set up chutes to go all the way over where we are here. Like, this is just too far, I think. There's no... I don't really need to put it in a vacuum, in other words. So I'm undoing this. What is it? Angle grinder? Alright, so thinking about it, our water is mostly here, and our carbon dioxide is mostly here, so it might make sense to just... I think there's a value in putting the ice crusher in our base. To back it up a little bit, some things in Stationeers are insulated, some things aren't. And I forget if the ice crusher is insulated or not, and I don't want to find out the hard way that it isn't. So I'm going to crush the ice inside. Maybe what I want to do is add like one more frame out this way, forward, to just put the ice crusher here in the base, just like beyond that window, and then feed it from the rocket chute systems, and then split the water into that pipe there, and the carbon dioxide. And we, truth be told, we shouldn't assume that it's carbon dioxide and water, because other ices won't be. But at least for this batch, that's how I'm going to handle it, and then I can rework it for other types of ices in the future. So for doing that, I'm going to want like 2 temporary flat walls to be able to do the addition. And I don't think I have those. Iron walls will work, but I don't have iron sheets. So yeah, let's do the flat walls. Have I driven the harm suit? Yes. Don't like it though. You can't jetpack with it, so screw that. It looks like you guys want me to refuel Dave and send him up to get oxygen. So if I'm not mistaken, we last sent Dave up with... 8 kilomoles. Even better. So let's sip some more volatiles, and we'll send Dave up with a little bit more fuel so that the landing is a little bit less sketchy. Because the last landing was like a little touch and go. I don't know exactly what the, like, percent chance for landing was. I've tried to look that up, but, like, apparently I'm not privy to that information, as far as the game's concerned. So, yeah, I don't know what my chance for landing was, but, like, I don't love the idea of a sketchy landing where I have to, like, save scum if it fails. So, I'd like to send Dave up with, more fuel so that it's, less risky. Because it wasn't really our thrust-to-weight ratio that made the landing sketchy. It was just our arrest burn was shorter than it could have been. So we'll need a frame to displace the Vulcan gas, and then in the process of uninstalling those two windows, I'll just need one more, what is that, iron floor? One iron sheet, which I have on me, to weld the floor there, and then like one flat wall for the roof. So I need one more flat wall and one more iron sheet. Or steel sheet. I'll just make two. In case that floor is steel out there. How difficult is it setting up a multi-rocket system that can selectively refuel automatically? I don't know. Hard, I'm gonna go with, as a generic answer. I don't even know what you mean, so that's why I gave you a non-answer. But appending the term automatically to anything, it's going to be harder. Alright, so it was a steel frame, but that's fine. I accounted for that. Gotta aim really carefully, because I was looking at the flat wall. That would have been catastrophic. So sketchy that it's that close to catastrophe. Hate that. But, you know, it's nature of the game. And then maybe I'll reroute this waste pipe a little bit after. I'm not going to do that right now. Dang it. Okay, so we have 2 wall kits. Which we'll set up as composite windows. And then 1 flat wall up here. Okay, so we're ready to like make a little bit more room, and then I'll probably reroute the waistline so that it's not got stuff in the way. You meant something that would allow me to have a constant rocket going out, mining, returning, emptying fuel, refueling, launching again, if that's even possible. Completely automatically, yeah, you can probably do it with an IC code. As a hypothetical, I don't know if any player has ever done a system like that, because it's like considerably more complicated than it sounds. Plus, making fuel quickly is like Well, yeah, actually, it really couldn't be automatic because mining spots are finite. And no automatic system can account for finite resources. So I'm going to say, no, it can't really be done. Because you can only mine the same spot a few times until it's exhausted. Oh, you know, I just realized I'm going to need a window here, too. Because otherwise I connect my two halves of my base together. So let's get one more window kit. Will it dump into the base? No, it's pointed upward. Wall kit. I have plastic glass. I mean, if I was really doing... I wanted to keep the scope of this project, like, within reason. What I really need to do is, like, add a lot more space to the base so that I'm not constantly just, like, piecemeal growing it, but I didn't want to go that far. It's gonna be a little weird that the window is like on this side facing inward, but whatever. I can always add the window to the other side if I want to change it out. And if you're wondering, there's not going to be a guide online for like that level of automation for Stationeers, because that's like I can't stress enough how ludicrously complex that would be. If there was a guide, I'd be flabbergasted, because that is automating that is absurdly complex. Thorgarth, thank you for the resub. Okay, if we want to move this waistline so that it's not intruding on our space, let's do that. In fact, so let's get brown. I don't even have a brown. Let's make brown by just like cutting into it. I think what we'll do is I'll run the waistline here instead. Anyway. So I'll totally reroute it, which means we're going to need more pipes. Always more pipes. And then we'll have this pipe that goes up, go up somewhere else, like outside. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow astronauts.